ladies and gentlemen, to JWF Monday Night Ignition. I'm your host, Silver Spoon, joined as always by the man who, well, I'll be honest, the man who tried his damnedest last night, and that is my co-host, Captain Tibbs.
Well, thank you, Sills. That somewhat eases the pain from losing booking power over my federation that I built up over many years for an entire month to an upstart, narcissistic piece of shit.
Yeah, it is right. We are entering the age of Scottye Moore. It is, of course, only going to last until about the end of the year, so we've only got to deal with a month of it. But in that month, I don't know, Tibbs, I think the kid could cause a lot of damage.
Well, probably, Sil. So, I will say, starting officially now, as of this moment, Captain Tibbs, the booker, is on vacation. All you get is Captain Tibbs, the commentator, for the next month. We'll see how you like that.
That is right. And I don't know how much Scottye Moore is going to be paying attention to this, but it is after a pay-per-view, so why don't we go into our power rankings? Of course, starting with our tag team division, we still have two teams who have yet to pick up a win, one being the team of Coach and Friend, sitting at number 4, and at number 5 are Misters Cash in the Bag themselves, Bananas in Pajamas. But here's the thing, they may not be successful here in the JWF, but I've been watching them in JXT over the past month. Of course, you sending a lot of our talent down there to scout, and they had been doing phenomenal work down there, getting victories, putting on classic matches. And if they could bring that fire here to the JWF, I'd be afraid for these tag team rankings.
Mm-hmm. It was almost amazing to watch. So it's just, they've got to translate that to coming back to JWF. It's almost like they lose a step when they're in front of the cameras or the big show. That's crazy.
That is right. Now, coming in at number 3 are the team that was unsuccessful as part of Team JXT last night, the Blockbusters. 1 victory, 4 losses. Only 1 victory in their time here in the JWF, but of course later tonight they are going to be facing off against number 1 in the power rankings, the VWO, for the opportunity to challenge our tag team champions, the Rising Suns. And Tibbs, I want to ask you, how do you feel number 2 in the power rankings, the Southern Boys, feel that the Blockbusters almost seem to be skipping the line, going straight up?
I would be, honestly, in the Southern Boys position, I'd be a little miffed, to say the least. I would also be asking why the Blockbusters, who joined Team JXT in a losing effort in their match, one would say, whereas the Southern Boys, only Sam Adams really showed up for the Crossing the Line pay-per-view. He did what some would say as have a much better performance in his match.
Had a phenomenal performance, I would say, going to almost the end, almost being the victor of that 8-man Bonanza match to determine our next number 1 contender, which was, of course, won by the man formerly known as the Chonk, now known as Big Cyrus Crane. Sam Adams put on a phenomenal job, but also, we do need to remember, like I said earlier, Scottye Moore is in charge of the book. He's taken people who he's feuded with, punishing them, and of course we know the long history Scottye has had with the VWO and putting them against the Blockbusters, a team that Scottye we know is fond of. They were part of Team JXT, and that I don't think it would be nepotism because they're not related, but honestly that's what it's feeling like.
You know, Sil, sometimes it's all about who you know, and that is also nepotism.
That's right. Well, now let's move on to our singles ranking. Surprisingly unranked is our captain's champion, Blake Tanner, which a very big change from how it used to be. Of course, we know the former captain champion, the Dylan, dominated the power rankings. Blake Tanner really struggling to come into his own, especially after that loss last night to the Dragon Man himself, Falcor the Stoppable.
That Sills is something you really got to take into account. His first real big match since gaining the Captain's Championship. His first pay-per-view match since then. and he is in a losing effort against Falcor the Stoppable, who himself had just lost his title.
That's right, and you can see we're looking at it right now. Number 5, Danny Roanoke, 3 wins, 4 losses. But here's the thing I want to talk about. Other than Danny, every single person on this power ranking has a better ranking, has a better win-loss record than our champion, than Guy Fieri. I mean, we've got Guy Fieri currently 6 and 7, and of course, number 4, Scottye Moore, 4 and 3. Chuck Tibbs, your son, 5-5. Hollywood Hulcher, 8-7. And then, of course, in the number 1 position, the man known as Robert Hill at 6-2. All of them with better rankings than Guy Fieri, than the champion. Although I have to be honest, if I'm looking at Scottye Moore and wondering who he's going to have challenge Guy Fieri, I got to say he may be favoring himself for that.
That might be true, Sills, and that honestly is possibly where he would go. Honestly, in my opinion, I would have a very different match in mind that might probably involve Robert Hill and Guy Fieri fighting each other for the title, but you know, that's just my old school mentality that the kids don't listen to nowadays, which is why I'm just a commentator and not a booker.
That's right, but before any of these men can get their opportunity, as I stated earlier, our current number 1 contender is the winner of that Cananza, the man known as Big Cyrus Crane. And Tibbs, let me tell you about Cyrus Crane. Man came out to the ring. A lot of the JWF guys were not that familiar with his work outside of JXT. Cyrus came in, he dominated, and for a big man, that boy can move.
Very agile guy, Cyrus Crane. Big Cyrus Crane, he honestly surprised me. Didn't think I'd see him again. But you know what? If somebody's willing to go to hell for you, then it's probably worth it. So I'll give Scottye Moore that for bringing in Cyrus Crane.
That is right. Of course, we know him to be the number 1 contender. Robert Hill, as you stated, currently number 1 in the power rankings, only 2 losses, but let's be honest, it's been by DQ. It's been by getting kicked out of the ring. I mean, at the pay-per-view, he lost by countout. No one has pinned or submitted this guy. He is an absolute beast in the ring. Robert Hill, let me tell you something. Like you said, him versus Guy Fieri, that is a dream match in my book. But, oh, well, hold on, wait a minute. I'm actually getting news right now that apparently our captain's champion, I was speaking about him earlier, Blake Tanner, is backstage, and it sounds like that he is going to I hate to say it, the general manager of JXT Ignition, Scottye Moore, and it sounds like Blake isn't happy. So why don't we have a listen?
Hey! How's it going, buddy? All right. I'm ready. Give it to me. What's it gonna be?
What are you talking about?
Come on. You've got control of the company, and I know that you're just ready to punish anybody and everybody that's ever fought against you, gone against you, not done anything your way. So listen, I'm here. Let's get it out of the way. Just throw me into it. Whatever you want. Me and Robert Hill in a death match? That'd be great. I'd fucking watch that. Maybe, you know what? Tibbs, he's gonna be back in control after next month. Maybe you should throw in another Cananza for my title, because he's not going to do another one. It'd be great. Come on. What do I have to look forward to?
I'm sorry, to be honest with you. I got a whole company to run here. I haven't really thought about you, which I know. I'm sorry, but you know what? I actually do think there is one last little bow that's yet to be tied here in the JWF. One less loose thread that hasn't been neatened up. One little feud that never reached its apex. And one man that you wronged who never got his revenge, which is why, you know what, this is coming to me. It's magical. In just a few short weeks, Blake Tanner, you are going to be facing the diabolical nightmare known as Ghazi. You see, you two have just about as much history in this company as anybody else. You both participated in one of the most brutal Heck in a Sec matches, and of course, many people said you stole that victory from Ghazi, and I think it's time we see a one-on-one match. I mean, doesn't the boy deserve it? He put his body on the line last night for Team JXT, put himself in the way of every single bullet that came our way. I mean, last night, Ghazi proved himself as a man willing to make a sacrifice. And in my opinion, sacrifice deserves to be rewarded, which is why your JWF Captain's Championship is going to be on the line. But Ghazi did also lose that night. He did lose his match, and losses deserved to be punished. You're picking up what I'm putting down here, right?
No, I get
Blake,
you. Yeah, no, I know where we're going with this.
Blake, I'm begging you, stomp his head into the mat. Whoa, strong words there from Scottye Moore. I mean, that honestly started out, it looked like that he was going to be punishing Blake. We know the long history between Blake Tanner and Scottye Moore. That is a feud that has gone on for years and years and years, but instead it seems like Scottye is finally looking at his old friend and saying, hey, can you throw me a bone? Take care of this guy. And you got to wonder how Ghazi is reacting to this.
Very true, Sills. I honestly don't know why they had that conversation in front of a camera. That almost seemed like something you didn't want Ghazi to see. Unless, of course, Scottye Moore wanted Ghazi to see it because he wanted to get Ghazi charged to beat Blake Tanner for the Captain's Championship. And it's 3-4-60 chest, Sills.
I do not know, Tibbs, but it looks like that we have a match made. Blake Tanner is going to take on Ghazi for the Captain's Championship. And like Scottye said, many people thought at Heck in a Sec, Ghazi actually was about to get the victory. In fact, be the first person to ever pin our former champion, the Dylan. But of course, instead, Blake Tanner swooped in, took out Ghazi, and stole the title right out from under his nose. So I think Ghazi finally has an opportunity to prove what everyone said all along, that night was a fluke for Blake Tanner.
Well, Sills, based off of his loss to Falcor at crossing the line, that might all honestly be true. It's going to be up to Blake Tanner to finally prove himself as a Captain's Champion if he even wants to hold that belt for more than a few weeks.
That's right. Oh, and you can hear right now the music of a dominant tag team in our division. The team that was part of Team JXT last night, the Blockbusters, making their way down to the ring for this #1 Contenders match against the VWO. And Tibbs, you have called thousands of VWO matches. What advice do you got to give these boys ahead of this opportunity?
Well, Sills, with the VWO, you can't worry about trying to outsmart him. If Griffin Clouds is in the ring, if he's the ring general for the VWO, you gotta watch out. All right, he's gonna completely surround you, just like in a game of chess.
Wait. I'm sorry, guys. I just hate to interrupt. I know I said this was going to be a #1 contendership match. I wanted to reward my boys for the great job they did last night, but then I remembered, oh, wait a minute. You didn't do a good job, did you? No. The Blockbusters alongside Ghazi and Robert Hill lost in the very first match of the show. The very first match in the war on JWF. And what happened, you boys? You fumbled it at the 5-yard line. But it's okay. It's okay because I certainly know it certainly can't be your fault. I mean, after all, you are the Bone Crusher. You are the Titan. You are two of the most dominant forces in JWF and JXT history. Surely, you two can't be the reason for a failing team. No. When I look into that ring, I don't see two failing wrestlers. I just see one failing manager. Oh, Tibbs, look at this. Scottye Moore calling out Lawrence Whitney, the manager of the Blockbusters, a man who was surprisingly absent from ringside last night.
So it was an interesting game that Scottye Moore's got going here with the Blockbusters, turning them against their manager. Wonder what he's planning.
Okay, I'm sorry. I beg your fucking pardon. What did you just call me? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me say it one more time. You are a failure as a manager, Whitney. We were in a war. And where were you, huh? You decided to disappear off to the back, scamper off, have you a couple Jaffa cakes, hide away like a coward while your brethren were fighting, covered in blood, using all of their grit and muscle to get the job done. You see, you're a traitor, Whitney. You were a traitor when you betrayed the War Wizards, and you're still a traitor to this day. And I'll be honest, we don't take kindly to that here in the new and improved JWF powered by Scottye Moore. No. You deserve a match. And my boys next to you, they deserve revenge. Oh, right, of course. The man who betrayed this entire company that made him champion calls me a traitor. Oh, wait, how about this? Let's play a rousing game of what's Scottye going to say next. What torturous life is about to await me? I assume, what, a handicap match of sorts, 2-on-1? Let the Bone Crusher and Titan have their way with me, shatter my spine into pieces, and leave me bleeding in the street? Is that really what you want to do? Well, if that's that, let me say my piece. Because you've been talking so much about how you're going to fix this place, make it better than it ever was. Well, these two were broken pieces of men when they came to me from JXT, faces smudged in horrid makeup, gear that looked like it came out of a Hot Topic garbage chute. And look what I did. I fixed them. I made them greater than they ever were in JXT. I am the reason that these two are dominators like they are today. You sure about that? Really? Really? You're the reason? Wait, hold on. Tibbs, I know you don't like me, but just real quick, what's their ranking right now? Like, how many matches have they won and lost? 1 in 4? Is that what it is? Yeah, they have won one match since you recruited them to your little team. You turned these two monsters into bona fide jokes. I mean, look at them. They are two Road Warrior ripoffs with no character and no personality. You didn't fix a damn thing. You hid away who they truly are. Those two men are demons ripped from the pit of hell itself. They are monsters, creatures of the night. They are Legion. But I will say one thing. You were right. You are going to be fighting in a handicap match, but it's not going to be 2-on-1.
What? Tibbs, what the hell do you make of this? What do you think Scottye Moore's talking about?
I don't understand, Sills. I mean, I understand that they're demons. If it's not going to be 2-on-1, then is there going to be another person or...
Oh my God, from out of nowhere, this monster, who the hell is this, just beating the living hell out of Lawrence Whitney, just decimating him in the ring. Tibbs, who is this?
Sills, that is Croc. That's Croc from JXT. That is Titan and Bone Crusher's former tag team partner. They used to be a stable down in JXT. Croc has returned to assist Bone Crusher and the Titan.
And they are absolutely waylaying Lawrence Whitney. And look at Scottye Moore up on the stage. Scottye Moore is laughing right now. And look at this, Bone Crusher and Titan standing up on the second rope. Croc grabbing Lawrence, and oh my God, a massive crucifix bomb just sending Lawrence into the mat. The man is just mush. He is covered in blood. This is horrifying. Legion has reunited, and they are destroying Lawrence Whitney.
My God, Sills, this is a bloodbath. This is not how I expected Scottye Moore to take out his punishment. Not on Titan and the Bone Crusher, but their manager, Lawrence Whitney, by bringing back Croc. Of all the most evil, unspeakable people, it's Croc.
That is right, and you can see him standing over that broken body of Lawrence Whitney. And Tibbs, I'll be honest, we may have a world record getting set at whatever pay-per-view Scottye Moore comes up with as these three men face off against Lawrence. This may be the fastest match of all time. It is a world record, I'm betting.
Might be true, Sills. I do not envy Lawrence Whitney's position right now. This is probably the worst thing that you could expect for him today.
That's right, but one thing that I certainly did expect was to see Team JWF dominate. We spoke earlier and throughout the whole show about how Ghazi, the Bone Crusher, Titan, Robert Hill, they all fell prey to Team JWF, but one person who was an ace in our sleeve, one person who proved to be our turning point when he got Robert Hill out of the ring, got Robert Hill counted out, was your son, Chuck Tibbs. But of course, his plan did not come without a lot of punishment from the King of the Hill.
Of course, Sills, he got the absolute hell beaten out of him by Robert Hill. But he stood strong, and he endured every bit of that, Sills, just so he could get Robert Hill counted out. He put Robert Hill into such a rage that he couldn't stop to think about the count, and I couldn't be prouder of my son for doing that.
That's right, and Chuck is backstage right now with one of our top interviewers, so why don't we hear what the captain's son has to say? Let's have a listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Don the Don McDonald backstage here with the man coming from the successful Team JWF last night at Crossing the Line, Chuck Tibbs. Now, Chuck, I'm looking at you, but despite your victory, you honestly seem a little bit off. Can you explain?
I did everything, McDonald. I did everything in my power to make sure that I didn't wake up today in a world where Scottye Moore held all the cards in the JWF. But despite everything, despite sacrificing myself to that beast known as Robert Hill, despite fighting with everything I had in my blood and bones, we still live under that regime of Scottye Moore. Maybe it's my fault, you know? Maybe I shouldn't have disappeared when I did. It's usually my fault like that when I think about it. I should have been here to fight during all of those weeks when Scottye was running roughshod over this company. Maybe I could have changed something. Maybe I could have stopped him from putting my father in such a situation like that. But you know, I can't dwell on the past. I'm back now. And McDonald, you trust me when I say I'm willing to fight with everything I have against Scottye Moore.
Oh, that is great. Oh, I love it. I love the fire. I love that Tibbs attitude. How are you doing, Chuck? I have not seen you since, haven't seen you since you beat me for the JWF Championship. Nice to see you. But believe me, you're going to need all this fire. I'm loving it. And you're going to need it because I'm about to go announce the next JWF pay-per-view, and I've got good news for you. You, my friend, you are the main event of the show with the greatest prize in JWF history on the line. A prize bigger than the JWF Championship, bigger than a WrestlePalooza main event. What I'm about to announce in the ring is historic. So just calm down, keep all this fight you got in your pants and save it up because you're gonna need it for what I'm about to announce. Well, Tibbs, what in the world do you think's going through the mind of Scottye Moore right now? What in the world? What's bigger than the JWF Championship?
I don't know, Silves, and I'm honestly extremely scared to find out what Scottye Moore thinks is bigger than the JWF Championship, as if he doesn't know that it was forged itself from artifacts from the gods that gives any one man immeasurable power. But, of course, whatever Scottye Moore's got is going to be more important than that. But it's just a commentator tonight, Silves.
Yeah, yes, you are. But I will say, I am very worried for your son, Chuck Tibbs, because this whole show has been about Scottye Moore doling out punishment. And if there's one person in the JWF I think Scottye has wanted to punish more than anybody else, it's got to be your son, Chuck Tibbs. I mean, Scottye just brought it up. Chuck basically stole the title out from underneath Scottye's nose with the use of the cash in the bag briefcase, and then absolutely destroyed him in what was a phenomenal nautical rules match at Eccentric Force. Scottye and Chuck, they're basically oil and water, or even worse, gasoline and fire. These two men, they are not on each other's side.
That is also true, Sills. I do shudder to think what he might have in store for my son, but I know after hearing Chuck with that fire and that passion that he's going to be up to the challenge.
That's right. You can hear the music of Scottye Moore playing right now. He is getting into the ring. He has a microphone, so let's hear what Scottye Moore thinks is bigger than the JWF title. Let's have a listen.
Before I begin this, I just want to get a little frank with you guys. I just want to thank all of my amazing supporters out there over what has just been a very tumultuous time in the past few weeks. I did things I was not proud of, and yet you all stuck by my side. I've read your tweets, I've read your emails. It's just so validating to hear all of you on my side as I attempted my hostile takeover of the JWF, and now all of your tweets, your emails, they paid off because we finally have it. We have the opportunity to change things around here. We have the opportunity to make stars and create the company that JWF was always destined to be. And that begins in just a few short weeks at a pay-per-view that, believe me, will rival WrestlePalooza, if not outshine it, as the greatest show of the year. That's right, it's time for Scottye Mania! Now, of course, as I announced earlier tonight, it's going to see some epic matchups. Blake Tanner taking on the Nightmare Ghazi. Lawrence Whitney making his JWF in-ring debut against the three most devastating men in JWF history, Legion, and most importantly, the main event. A battle royal where 8 superstars will jump into that ring and fight tooth and nail for the greatest prize I could possibly think of. And believe me, I racked my brain over this decision on what is the first of easily many pay-per-views held under the Scottye Moore era. I knew I had to pull out all the stops, and that is why the winner of that battle royal will face me at the Regal Rumble. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you get the opportunity to step in the ring with a man that has done it all in professional wrestling, a man that this crowd sees as a bona fide legend. And I, for one night, and one night only, will let a little bit of my starlight rub off on you. Whoever wins this battle royal, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna make him famous. And it is with this in mind that I would...
Well, Tibbs, there's some music that I honestly did not expect to interrupt Scottye Moore, and it is the JWF champion, Guy Fieri. You can see him limping out to the ring after that vicious assault from Chuck Gibbons at crossing the line, but so Guy Fieri's out. What do you think's going through his mind?
If I'm going to be honest, Sills, it looks like just another hurdle that Scottye Moore is going to have to overcome as being part of a general manager of a wrestling company, which is an upset world heavyweight champion.
Whoa. I'm sorry, but do you not see the belt around my waist? Do you not see the JWF champion standing right here in front of you? You see, this title, it entitles me to a few things, and that includes being a main event star. But yet once again, Guy Fieri is getting pushed
down the card. That's right, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But here is one key difference. Guy Fieri is done being pushed down. Guy Fieri's done being ignored by management, whether it's you or that dumb fuck in the hat behind the desk. I am the main event here in JWF, not some dumb little battle royal. You hear me? Well, Mr. Fieri, I am glad that you've made your points known, but your match at Scottye Mania, whether you like it or not, it's not going to be the main event, no matter how much you bitch and whine. You see, your match is going to open the show when you put that title on the line against a true main eventer, against a man that decimated 7 other individuals last night at Crossing the Line. Guy Fieri, I want you to bring this whole fire that you got to open my show. Get the crowd excited when you face off against Big Cyrus Crane in a last man standing match. Well, Tibbs, 4 matches already announced for the card, and I hate to say it, it looks like a phenomenal show Scottye Moore's created so far.
You know, Sills, that might be correct, right? That's pretty correct. Some would say that it was handed to him on a silver platter, say for the Battle Royal, where the only opportunity you get is to fight a man that doesn't have any championship or accolades, but whatever.
Well, hold on. That is a big prize, according to Scottye Moore. Apparently, biggest prize in the business, getting to face him. And while I know you're not a fan of the man, he is a former Regal Rumble winner, former Mr. Cash in the Back. Won just about everything there is to win in this company. I do agree it is somewhat of a boon to get the opportunity to go toe-to-toe with him. Much like Momoa Curry did to him many years ago that sent him on this path, Scottye Moore, in his own twisted way, I think he thinks that he's almost paying it forward.
Sills, he named the pay-per-view Scottye Mania. I don't.
You're right. Yeah.
Also, does that mean I could just call it Tibbs-a-Palooza next year? Fuck it.
I mean, we already own the copyright, so, preferably no. Don't change the name.
Alright, but what if I just rename this December pay-per-view to Tibbs-a-Palooza next year? We just write that down, keep a note about it.
All right, we will see, Tibbs, but we'll also see what happens next week when apparently I'm being informed we're going to have the true #1 contenders match, the VWO taking on the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys. And Tibbs, let me tell you something, that is a feud that has been brewing all year. Of course, the Southern Boys almost a year to the date attacking the VWO at the Tibby Awards. And now it has come full circle, and the VWO are going to be forced to try to overcome the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys to get the #1 contendership.
Now that's going to be a good match, Sills. If they proved anything, they could put together a classic.
That's right. In addition, we are going to be hearing from the Nightmare Ghazi, who will certainly have some words for Scottye Moore after what he said this week. And we will see the in-ring debut of the Abomination, the Beast, known as Croc, as he takes on Danny Roanoke. And if I have advice for Danny in that match, it's one word, and it's run.
Don't teach, run.
That is right, Tibbs, but that's next week. And while you're biding your time, why don't you go to patreon.com/a-load-of-BS, get access to tons of exclusive content. We got older episodes of JWF up there. We've got the exclusive series Wrestling History X and a Discord where you can hang out, chat wrestling, watch live episodes of the less good brands at patreon.com/a-load-of-BS.
And Sills, I would just like to say that I have opened up several lawsuits against Scottye Moore for this undue theft of my book. And if you'd like to support that, patreon.com/a-load-of-BS.
That is right, Tibbs, but also make sure to pick up merch for your favorite superstars at merch.aloadofpurebs.com. But until next week, he's been Captain Tibbs, I've been Silver Spoon, and this has been JWF Monday Night Ignition. And we will see you next time.